AI Unfolded, Episode 1. Can machines think? I want to start with a question, not a trick question, not a philosophical riddle, just 3 words. Can machines think? That's it, 3 words, written by one man in 1950. And those 3 words, that single question, is why you have a smartphone in your pocket, why you get Netflix recommendations, why ChatGPT exists, why every major tech company on the planet is spending hundreds of billions of dollars right now on artificial intelligence. It all traces back to this one guy, this one question, this one moment. His name was Alan Turing. And the story of what happened to him, what he built, what he gave the world, and what the world gave him back, is one of the most extraordinary stories in human history. Picture this, it's 1950. The Second World War ended 5 years ago. Europe is still in rubble, the world is exhausted, trying to rebuild. Computers exist, but imagine a computer the size of your bedroom, that weighs as much as a car, that costs millions, that only a handful of people on Earth know how to operate. Nobody, and I mean nobody, is seriously sitting around asking whether these machines might one day think. That's Jules Verne stuff, that's science fiction. Except one person, Alan Turing, born in London, studied at Cambridge, then Princeton. By his mid-20s, he had already published work that would become the foundation of modern computer science. He defined what a computer actually is. Not a physical machine, but an abstract idea. A machine that can follow any set of instructions, given enough time and memory. Think of it like a recipe. The computer is the kitchen. The instructions are the recipe. The ingredients can be anything. And Turing proved, mathematically, that any problem that can be broken down into steps can, in theory, be solved by this machine. He called it the Turing machine. This idea, written in 1936, when Turing was just 24 years old, is still how computer scientists think today. But before he could develop these ideas further, Germany invaded Poland, and Alan Turing's life changed completely. The British government pulled him into a secret operation, a converted country house in Buckinghamshire called Bletchley Park. On the outside, just a quiet estate in the English countryside. On the inside, the most important intelligence operation in the history of warfare. Here's the problem they needed to solve. The Germans had a machine called Enigma. It encrypted every single military communication, every naval position, every troop movement, every order, scrambled into complete gibberish. Imagine you're trying to stop a bank robbery, but every time the criminals call each other, the call sounds like static. You can hear them talking, you just can't understand a single word. That was the Allies' problem. And it was killing people. German submarines, called U-boats, were using Enigma encrypted messages to coordinate attacks on Allied ships crossing the Atlantic. Ships carrying food, medicine, ammunition, everything Britain needed to survive. They were sinking by the hundreds. Churchill's advisors calculated that if this continued, Britain would run out of food. Turing's job, crack Enigma, something most experts believed was mathematically impossible. The number of possible Enigma settings was so enormous that trying every combination would take longer than the age of the universe. Turing didn't try every combination, he found the flaw. He designed a machine called the Bombay that could rapidly eliminate wrong cipher settings. Not by checking everything, by being clever, by understanding what the message couldn't be, and working backwards. It's like finding a lost key, not by searching the whole house, but by asking, where would I definitely not put it, and eliminating from there. By 1941, Turing and his team were reading German naval messages in near real time. Allied ships could be redirected. The sinkings slowed. Supplies got through. Historians estimate this work shortened the Second World War by at least 2 years, possibly 4. Millions of lives because of this man, and almost nobody knew. The work was classified, top secret, hidden for decades after the war ended. 5 years after the war, 1950, Turing publishes a paper, not in a tech journal, not in a science magazine, in a philosophy journal called Mind. The paper is called Computing Machinery and Intelligence. It opens with 3 words: "Can machines think?" Then, almost immediately, he says, actually, that question is too messy. The word think is too slippery. Argue about what thinking means, and you'll go in circles forever. So he replaces it with something more concrete. He calls it the imitation game. Here's how it works. You're sitting alone at a keyboard. You can type messages to 2 other entities in separate rooms. One is a human, one is a machine. You ask them questions, they answer. You try to figure out which is which. If the machine can consistently fool you into thinking it's human, then, for all practical purposes, it's intelligent. This is now called the Turing Test. And think about how clever this move is. He didn't try to define thinking, something philosophers had been arguing about for centuries without agreeing. He said, forget the definition, can it do the thing? If yes, that's enough. It's like asking, is this person a good cook? You don't need to define cooking, just eat the food. In the same paper, Turing makes a prediction. He says, in about 50 years, computers will be able to play the imitation game so convincingly that an average interrogator will have no more than a 70% chance of correctly identifying the machine after 5 minutes of conversation in 1950. When computers couldn't hold any conversation at all, was he right by the year 2000? Not quite. But today, large language models pass versions of the Turing test in study after study. His timeline was off by roughly 20 years for a prediction made in 1950. That is genuinely remarkable. Now, I need to tell you the part of this story that is genuinely hard to say out loud. In 1952, 2 years after publishing this world-changing paper, Alan Turing reported a burglary at his home to the police. A routine thing. Someone broke in. He called the police. During the investigation, police discovered that Turing was in a relationship with another man. In Britain in 1952, that was a crime. He was arrested, prosecuted, convicted of gross indecency. The same government he had served in the war, the same country whose survival his work had helped ensure, prosecuted him for who he loved. He was given a choice, prison or chemical castration. He chose the hormone treatments, injections. For a year, his body changed. His security clearance was revoked. Police surveilled him, treated him as a national security risk, the same man who had been a national security asset just 7 years earlier. 2 years later, June 1954, his housekeeper found him dead, 41 years old. Cyanide poisoning, a half-eaten apple by his bed. The official verdict was suicide. His mother always believed it was an accident. He conducted chemistry experiments at home and may have accidentally inhaled cyanide fumes. We'll never know for certain. What we do know, the British government destroyed the man who had done more for that country than almost anyone in the 20th century. It took until 2013, almost 60 years after his death, for the British Crown to issue a formal pardon. Here's what I want to leave you with. Every time you talk to an AI, every time a recommendation algorithm suggests something you actually want to watch, every time your email filters out spam, every time you use a map that routes around traffic, that's Turing's question being answered, piece by piece, decade by decade. He didn't build AI. He asked the question that made AI possible. And he did it while carrying on his back the weight of a war, a prosecution, and a world that wasn't ready for him. The question he wrote in 1950 still doesn't have a complete answer. But in 1956, 6 years after that paper, a small group of scientists gathered at a college in New Hampshire. They decided to actually try to build the answer. They gave this new field a name for the very first time. They called it artificial intelligence. That story is next. This is AI Unfolded. Every episode, one story. The complete history of the most important technology humans have ever built, told in order, from the very beginning. If this was worth your time, subscribe, because the story gets a lot more interesting from here.